Rafael. Well, the United States has slapped sanctions on 6 entities based in Hong Kong and China on charges linked to Iran's drone program. This is part of the maximum pressure campaign against Iran of the US President Donald Trump. These firms are accused of procuring unmanned aerial vehicle components, drone components, on behalf of an Iranian company that is under US sanctions. Well, for more on that, we're joined by Carice Whitty. She's the founder and executive director of the Signal Group. Good to have you with us, Carice. Thank you for joining us. First of all, we're talking about private companies here, aren't we? I mean, could China even crack down on this if it wanted to?
There's no such thing as private in China. Not as an individual, not as a company. China can crack down on absolutely anything that it chooses to. So that's the answer.
So why don't they? I mean, is it worth their while going up against the United States on this?
I think there's a new dynamic now, as we are experiencing in so many areas with the Trump factor. I think China is looking to see where it can maneuver within this new reality. In general, China tends to respect sanctions against Iran. During the first Trump administration, China was very careful about that. And I believe that as the picture evolves, we'll see China accommodating. But right now, these are small deals, relatively small companies. Like you said, they're private. And so China has some wiggle room to delay. But ultimately, if the pressure stays on and the U.S. makes it very clear that they consider this to be crossing the line on military support for Iran, I think you'll see China step up.
And China, of course, has been able to benefit from the sanctions in some ways, in that it's been able to get hold of a great deal of cut-price Iranian oil. I mean, is that set to continue?
That was during the Biden administration, and they were these teapot refineries. They were private. They were doing their deals in renminbi as opposed to the dollar, so the sanctions didn't apply. But again, they take Trump more seriously, and his willingness to stand behind his threats make it such that China is going to most likely respect all these sanctions. And China has a lot of other issues that are much more important. First of all, its domestic economy, which is really suffering. I would also say that China's concerns about the relationship with the United States filters into everything. So it's looking to expand its relationship in the global South, put its effort there, and sort of deflect attention away from these issues that are more important to it by accommodating Trump where it's easier for them.
Carice, the Middle East is very much in flux at the moment. We've got, great shifts in the balance of power. The Iranian influence is on the wane. The Russian influence is also much weaker. Is China looking for any opportunities here? Are they looking to perhaps develop stronger ties with any other countries in the region? Egypt, perhaps, and other American allies that are having a hard time with President Trump?
Well, it's interesting to see how they've rejiggered their policy since Israel's strategic successes, the military and intelligence operations that we saw in the spring. China went from being very anti-Israel, very pro-Iran, to becoming a lot less anti-Israel and a lot less pro-Iran. At the same time, you see both the U.S. and China seeming to woo Egypt. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, because the U.S. provided $5 billion of support very recently. At the same time, Egypt is turning to China for many of its interests. My guess is that when the Trump administration has the bandwidth to pay attention to what Egypt is doing, it's going to have some quiet conversations that may cause Egypt to rethink. Regarding China, I see it very much pulling back from this new idea of being diplomatically and politically involved in the Middle East and returning to its default tech and infrastructure focus. And I think that's what we'll see. More economic interaction, business. We see a huge amount of Chinese business people going to the Gulf, looking to sell contracts there, attract investment. The Gulf sovereign funds are some of the only serious foreign direct investment left that is going into China. So I think China's going to refocus on the economic ties that are so critical now, especially with its struggling economy.
Kerry Switty at Signal, thank you very much.